All right.
Here we go. Still, by the way, no CJ. We've been doing the podcast now for months without the producer, which means I have to stay up after this, fucking put the video on Spotify. It's infuriating.
In fact, I'm producing CJ's LA trip, telling him where to go, what to see, where not to go.
Not only is he not producing, you are producing.
I know.
The world has gone mad.
Nonsense.
Absolutely mad.
Oh, are we synced up for the Sixers game right now?
I have Charlie Brown Jr. at the free throw line.
Oh no.
Hold on. Yeah, I'm live.
So am I. There's 5:40 left. And now we're on a commercial.
I have 6:15 left.
Oh boy, you're in the fast, my man.
Well, let me tell you something, bro. I've watched the whole first half. I'm barely paying attention to this fucking thing. This is brutal. This is summer league. I want to save this for the pod. This is the filter in part, which you're obviously listening to on Spotify or any other podcast app aside from live. I'm sorry. You're getting this while CJ isn't here. So, yeah, I was watching the first quarter of this, and it's so bad this summer.
I love it. I love it, and I miss it. I haven't really watched much other non-Sixers summer league. I haven't had a chance to, so I feel like I'm just fully removed. I don't know who's good, who's popping right now.
Everyone is fucking terrible.
No, they're great.
No, they're
the best.
So
I love
bad.
summer league, man. It's unlike anything else.
Here we go. As I watch a Geico commercial, 30 seconds behind you, meaningless summer league game. The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook by using promo code RTRS and brought to you by Adam Ksebe, the official realtor of the process. Big Barker Therapeutic Dog Beds. Get yours at bigbarker.com/Ricky. Body Bio, get 20% off any Body Bio product with code RTRS20 at bodybio.com. And Stateside Urban Craft Vodka, the official sponsor of the Corner 3 newsletter with Zoe, statesidevodka.com. On the show today, is the league going to investigate the Sixers and their shady dealings with James Harden? Wonders one Zach Lowe and Bobby Marks. Joel Embiid is a French citizen officially. Donovan Mitchell is available, and JJ Redick talks about the city of Philadelphia. Hey, Stateside Vodka I mentioned. Now, I always talk about the Surfside Vodka and Tea, which is only 100 calories, 3 carbs, no carbonation, because, iced tea shouldn't have carbonation in it. It's just iced tea and vodka, just sweet enough. But tonight I'm enjoying the regular Stateside Vodka, which is also excellent. You can get all of it at statesidevodka.com. It's all the official drink of the summer. And before we get going, a rest in peace to Charlie Buckets, one process pup who was not with us nearly long enough. Tyru emailed me and said his parents' dog, Charlie Buckets, passed away. Very, very sad. They loved him. So we want to send lots of love to Charlie's family, most notably his dad, Rick, in California. So sending love to you guys. Without any, further ado, Amos and the Chef.
Larry, sweetie, the man is here.
Say the name, I say the name, I say the name.
We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We was right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We were right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. Say the name.
Welcome to the Rights Ricky Sanchez podcast. I'm Spike Eskin, along with a guy who poured one out for take fouls in the NBA earlier today. That is one, Mike Levin.
I love it. What an obvious thing to do that everyone's been saying that they should do for a very long time, and they finally.
Which there was no argument against, by the way.
No, not a single argument against in the world.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm sure there'll be things to tweak from there, but at least it's better. We are doing, this is the first ever Rights to Ricky Sanchez over 9 years in.
Yeah.
That we are doing while the Sixers game is on. It's summer Sixers.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure we've done a podcast like in protest when they're down like 30 or something.
Right at the end, I think we've done before.
But this is an intentional, the game is on. I'm a little bit ahead of you, which is exciting. You probably just saw a nice Cassius Winston leave for Malik Ellison for a nice finish.
I hate Summer League. I used to
You're
love
so
it.
objectively wrong about it. It's great.
I'm
Provably
wrong.
incorrect.
Well, okay, so I don't know. There's a chance you will hate this, and this is Summer League related. I was Saturday morning. I was thinking about the name Trevelyan Queen and getting it. Do you know the song Caribbean Queen by Billy Ocean?
No, I know
Caribbean Queen.
No,
Now
is it
we're
Mississippi Queen?
feeling- No, not Mississippi Queen. And the thing about Caribbean Queen is the way he says it. He says Caribbean, so it fits Trevelyan. So I had Trevelyan Queen in my head, and I tweeted, "Hey, could somebody do this for me?" And I got a text from Mutlu, and I got this. There we go.
Great.
So you don't know the original song? You don't know Caribbean Queen?
I don't think so, no.
So every time he scores,
I'm
That's much-
happy to have that. It sounds
Okay.
nice. Mulu has a lovely voice.
yep,
And I do love Trevelyan Queen, so.
yep. So there you go. Well, so for me to get back to the game, we have to do the low post thing first because I have to use the same device. So do you want to do that? Do the Bobby Marks Zach Lowe thing first so I can get back to the game? Guess so I can get back to ignoring the game right in front of me.
Great.
All right. So on the low post, which I've remarked several times, I'm going to remark again. I don't know when it switched. Not that he was ever not good at it, but Zach is a particularly good podcaster now, particularly good at it. And I believe he is more opinionated than he used to be. I don't know what happened, but Zach's very good at it. In any case, he had Bobby Marks on. And I want to give the full context. We could just play the 15 seconds that got, publicized everywhere, but they had like a few minute conversation about James Harden's opting out and taking $15 million less. The deal isn't even signed yet, and what the ramifications of that could be. So here you go from the low post with courtesy from ESPN that they did not grant us courtesy. Oh, I don't fucking know. Oh, there we go. Oh, motherfucker. Hang on. I'm going to get this fixed. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why it's not playing through the fucking thing. Hang on. Oh, there we go. Hang on. Here we go. What's happening in the Summer League game, Mike?
Really nice strip from Trevelyan Queen. Get the ball the other way, but then a bad pass from Malik Ellison to give it up.
There you go.
I wish I was always watching Summer League while we're doing a podcast. Always.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so here we go. Now it's fixed. All right. Now it is paired to my iPhone.
Proffered was that he forgot or didn't finish the paperwork on time, as if this were 1998 and we were waiting for the fax machine to spit out the paper in time for the deadline. That didn't make any sense at all. And on this podcast, I believe with you or maybe the one after at the trade deadline, I said there's chatter around the league, a conspiracy theory going around the league, that what really is going to happen is he's going to opt out, re-sign for less money. The Sixers are going to dump Tobias Harris's contract somewhere, open up max space, and sign another star. Now, that didn't happen, but as you pointed out, him taking less money allowed them to sign P.J. Tucker for the full mid-level exception and Daniel House for the biannual exception, two guys who fit this team really well. And I said on that podcast at the time, if something like that happened, and like that, I meant the Dump Harris Max Star comes in scenario, which obviously did not happen, I would expect the league office to just sort of say, hold on, let's at least like take a look at what happened here. Do you expect that to happen?
I do. I do expect it to happen. And I don't, I'm out here in Vegas and everything like that. And there's not like I have confirmed facts and stuff like that. But anytime, let's just connect the dots here. You have a former owner in Michael Rubin, probably one of the wealthiest, American former owners, billionaire, fanatics, just has this big party. You got all these NBA guys there. There's a relationship with
Can you pause it for a second?
James Harden already.
I just want everyone to make note of how often, and I don't remember how many times he said it in this clip, but Bobby Marks, whose accent I have made fun of mercilessly.
What's the accent?
Bobby Marks?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just like dirty Jersey, Wilmington, some fucking shitty. And maybe people don't listen to this accent. Listen to this podcast, don't hear it, but it's an accent.
Okay.
But how much he ends every single phrase or sentence with either here or there. The word either here. We got James Harden here. Like it's like everything is here or there constantly. So just as we move forward in this, and as you listen to Bobby for the rest of the time, just notice that.
The only other thing here is that his description of Michael Rubin fell apart as he realized, he said, one of the richest former owners had a party, fanatics. Anyway.
There was a relationship with James Harden when he was in a Brooklyn Nets uniform. There's no denying that. And now you have him taking $15 million less, where I was texting with a couple teams and I said, what's the $15 million made up with? Fanatics stock? And they said, maybe.
What do you think of that? I don't think
yes,
it's a public company.
It's odd that they.
Is it?
It's just they're being everyone's being very obvious about it. So,
all right.
Yes, I think it's happening.
Here we go. Let's finish this.
So I would think that if you're the league and you're looking at, hey, we got investigated for Andre Karolinko, right? Karolinko opted out of $10 million in Minnesota and signed with us for.
What's that?
Former Sixer Andre Karolinko.
Former Sixer, yeah.
Because we had a Russian owner, and the league felt like that we were basically bankrolling him in a offshore account for the difference here. So for me, I would think if because of the difference of what as I said, it's not $5 or $6 million, that the league should look into the Sixers, and Philly can say he's doing it out of the charity of his heart because he wants to get the team better, and that's great. And maybe it is, but if I was the league, I would certainly look into as far as what happened in Philadelphia with this contract.
So I asked
There you go. And Zach goes on to say he asked the league if they would look into it, and he didn't get any response. They're never going to do anything, and nothing.
I might not agree with that. I think this is like all so bald that there's a chance that they take away a second round pick or something like that because of how obvious it all is. I think the reason why it seems like I've said a couple of times, they didn't sign former Darryl people, they signed former Harden people.
Right, for sure.
I think that is important to note, and it's something that the Sixers will note if this escalates.
Didn't you insinuate, by the way, that Daniel House took the bullet for James Harden's bubble sex?
I have insinuated that, and I believe I still am insinuating.
Do you have any information that would indicate that, or is that just a gut feeling that Daniel House?
I don't have any information, but
okay.
It feels like it's the kind of thing that it was rumored about in 2020, and then time goes by and you forget where the rumor came from, and in my mind it just is now true. It's one of those just like time cemented it into my brain, which is whether it's true or not, I like it, and good for Daniel House and good for Harden for paying him back basically. Sure. But I think as far as like the Sixers like Darryl signing Harden people is going to be important to this whatever tampering cap circumventing case that the league is probably going to at least inquire about for the Sixers, because Daryl will be like, yeah, James took less money so that we could sign his friends. And that's what he wanted, and we abided by that. If he signed like random guys that have not as much of a connection to James, then I think it's a little bit of a dicier area. But he could be like, yeah, Harden wanted to, help his guys out, get us more money, get him on the team. That's how much he cares about winning, that kind of thing. But the fact that Michael Rubin has been not only noted in this podcast, which obviously Zach is one of the more popular NBA podcasts, is listened to by those kinds of important people, but also in the Shams tweet,
So
indicating like that's who's negotiating the deal. So I don't know what payroll Shams is on. He's on a bunch of them, but like it shouldn't be that obvious about it that we're like, oh yeah, he's helping negotiate it in his capacity as former owner, rich guy.
So that is my only observation is that, and you bring up Shams' payroll, and Shams is a Clutch client, I believe. Yes, Shams is a Clutch client, which is interesting that he got this scoop. But the thing that bothered me a little bit as I thought about this and as I listened to this, when I listened to this segment today, was that like how does this benefit Michael Rubin? Not to help out. I understand why he's helping out, but like, why be so fucking like obvious about it? I guess, like, how does it benefit him aside from online clout, getting likes on his Instagram, this weird Instagram post with his poor wife falling off the stage? Like, what does he gain here? I guess is my only question.
I don't know. Maybe they think they're untouchable, or like Shams is getting fed this stuff from other teams or whatever that are unhappy with how this worked out.
Yeah, because by the way, they have not signed the contract yet.
The Harden one has.
Yeah.
But they've already signed. Harden or Tucker and Dan House have been announced. So there's not, even if Harden was like, I guess I'll opt back. I'll unopt out. There's no room for that. It can't happen. So we're already past that. It's just a matter of if they're going to get penalized for it.
Very strange. Very strange. But I have to listen to Bobby Marks's. I have to listen for Bobby Marks's accent because I've never noticed that before.
Yeah, you've been in the Northeast for too long, man. It's heavy.
Oh, it's just natural to me now because I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
I
Haywood Highsmith playing well, playing physical for these Miami Heat. Feels like a little bit of a turncoat. I don't love it.
When
From
I went
blue coat to turncoat.
I didn't know I had a accent, which I don't really anymore. But when I went to Syracuse for college and I was in my first radio class, and we all recorded ourselves and listened to ourselves, and I heard everybody else, and then I had to listen to myself. That's when I realized I had a Philly accent, and I got rid of it.
Yeah, I had some of one, and it's gone.
Adam Ksebe is the official realtor of the process. Maybe he can help James Harden find a home. Maybe he can just give James Harden the home. Maybe he can be included in a Shams tweet. You never know. If you need a realtor, Adam Ksebe is your guy. You spell it Ksebe if you don't remember the phone number that I give you. It's 302-864-8643. 302-864-8643. But don't remember that. Remember Ksebe, Ksebe. He is the master of the Delaware beaches. He will get you any home you want on the Delaware beaches. He tells you, do not buy a home at the Jersey Shore. The taxes are too high. The homes are too expensive. It's not nearly as dog-friendly as Delaware, and no sales tax in Delaware. Adam Ksebe. His team, which is based out of Long and Foster and Bethany Beach, can sell you or buy you a home, or sell your home or buy you a home, help you buy a home in Delaware or Maryland, those states. That is what they're expert in. But he's an expert in people and real estate. So if you want to buy a home in PA, New Jersey, New York, wherever you are, you call Ksebe or you text him. This is his cell phone number, 302-864-8643. Anyone listening live, watching live, text him right now. See if he responds. 302-864-8643. He can't help you buy the home, but what he'll do is he will interview realtors. He will find the right one for the price and the area you're looking for, and you'll be set up. You are hooked up. you need to have somebody in every area, especially when things are expensive. Homes are expensive. You have somebody now. You have Adam Ksebe, the official realtor of the process, Ksebe. Adam at processrealtor.com, or you can call him at 302-864-8643 or text him at that very same number. What's going on in the Summer League game, Mike, now that I can put it back on? What have I missed?
Right before halftime,
Okay.
Sixers down 2, Miami ball during a timeout. There's 3 seconds left. So we'll ease into the other parts of the conversation, and then we'll get fired up for
second half.
what is sure to be a great second half of Summer League basketball.
Bam Adebayo's there. I don't know if you saw. Eric Spoelstra's there, of course. I didn't see any other Heats there, but I did see Bam Adebayo.
The Martin twins are there, one of whom is on Miami. I haven't seen any Sixers since I got home just before we started recording, so I missed most of the first quarter. But hey, man, just this is Summer League, man. You pop in, you pop out, you roll, you walk over to the other gym. You see, that's a Sixers. They're showing a Sixers front office executive whose name is escaping me.
Oh, it's the guy that they hired before they hired Morey.
Yeah. Large ears.
Champlain. Is his name Champlain?
Champlain, I don't think is his name.
Derek Champlain.
No.
It's a guy that they hired to be with
it's like Peter something.
the Elton Brand front office. Peter Champlain. He came from the Timberwolves.
Not Champlain.
Peter Dinwiddie.
That's it.
He came from
Which
the
is close to
Timberwolves.
Champlain. It's just a small little mini jump from Champlain. I can see it.
So perhaps you've heard Brian Windhorst, indicated this in a very quiet moment on ESPN a couple weeks ago, as he indicated no one really noticed that this happened, but he was indicating that the Utah Jazz might be tearing it down. And the recent report from Woj is that they are listening to offers from Donovan Mitchell. Before
Why
we
would
get
they do that? Why would they do that?
why would they do that?
Now, why would they?
Nope.
Why would they be interested in trading their mediocre team for a bunch of picks? Why would
To get Kevin Durant?
Why would that be interesting to them if they were to have a very clear ceiling that wasn't working with guys who clearly didn't like each other, and then they started trading some of their players for picks? Why would they do that? Why would they do that? What's going on in Utah? They're the first team to ever trade a player for a pick. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen a team decide to rebuild. First time ever. So
anyway, in any reality situation, I want to get to the fake world in a second, but in the reality situation, the Sixers can only be the third team in this. Like, a lot of people were like, would you trade Maxey and yada, yada, yada. They just got 4 first-rounders, this year's first-round pick, Malik Beasley, and a swap for fucking Rudy Gobert. So Maxey and Tobias Harris and Matisse Thybulle ain't getting it done, is the main thing. I do think that they could end up being a third team, and this could be the Tobias situation, right? I mean, like that, and I think that could be one reason that Harden isn't signed yet, just to see what happens. If they trust each other and they know he's going to sign anyway, they might as well give it time to see if they need a couple million extra dollars, right? I would assume that's what's taking so long now. And I think they could be a third team in this if they,
yeah, maybe. I think Donovan Mitchell's unlikely, although he's at least star-ish, if not a full.
He's a star.
Number one star. He's there. He's about there. You could quibble with, like, is he a top 20 player or closer to like top 30, 35, whatever. Fine. But whenever those kinds of guys are available, Daryl is at least going to kick the tires on him because of how long he's always, prioritized those kinds of stars. And now that the Sixers have more depth around those guys, they could withstand that kind of thing. But I'm not sure. I think it's more likely that it could be like a Bojan Bogdanovic situation.
What do you mean?
If Utah decides to fully
right.
just go to hell, basically. They could maybe they would want Tobias in the sense that they would need him to make the money work anyway, but also if they're gonna like acquire all these picks and then move that in addition to a big salary to get like another high salary guy, Tobias's contract is an easy match there. If they're thinking of a quicker rebuild than what it looks like, which looks like a very long one.
So, I mean, you would trade. I mean, I would trade Tyrese Maxey for Donovan Mitchell. I wouldn't even think twice about it. I mean, if Tyrese Maxey ends up as good, Donovan Mitchell's only 25. If Tyrese Maxey ends up as good as Donovan Mitchell, that is a pretty, lofty goal, I think. And he's still a couple years away from that. I mean, for all the six-man jokes aside, and I don't think he's one of the, 10 or 15 best players in the NBA, but the last few years he's averaged 25, 5, and 4 for, a really good regular season team. I just think if you were to line up next year on your team with, Harden and Donovan Mitchell and Joel Embiid, and you didn't end up in the finals somehow, like, you have to sort of take the L on that one, right? I mean, you would trade Maxey for Donovan Mitchell. Yeah.
I mean, I think your point to the trade of what the trade would be is aside, but if you look at what Maxey is now, and if he profiles to be as good as Donovan Mitchell, that is a high value for what he would get, what he would become. It's always hard to trade guys that you like as much as Tyrese Maxey. But as far as like on court stuff, like I think Maxey is going to become at least like a top 40 player in the NBA. Mm-hmm. The way he's continues to improve year to year, and he is super young, and he is extremely hard worker, guy likes playing for him. And there's parts of Donovan Mitchell's game that I don't like as much. I'm as a guy who loved him coming out of college, I'm frustrated by how he has not defended as much as I expected he would, and as much as he should. But yeah, Donovan Mitchell's a really good player. If Maxey becomes Donovan Mitchell, that would be huge.
And Mitchell's only 25.
And he's not old.
He's still so young.
Yeah.
He's still 3 years away from his prime, theoretically, So I
don't know that it's that. I think that it's, as far as this is a separate, more philosophical conversation, but I think the prime conversation is a little bit antiquated. This idea that it's like you're 28, 29, because by that point, like you're already making so much money that and your body a lot of times is starting to break down, that you're less healthy. So I think prime now for NBA guys that are coming out after their freshman year of college, for the most part, or 1 year out of high school generally, I think prime is closer to like 24 to 29 than it is like what it used to be, like 28 to 32 or something, what they used to discuss it as.
You think? I mean, it's not like, Kobe Bryant came into the league at 18? I mean, plenty of players came into the league pretty early, right? I'd be curious to see. I would just have to go back and look, like somebody like Kevin Garnett or Kobe, when looking at their ages and when their prime actually was.
For sure. I just think more people are coming into the league over the last 10 years or so. More people are coming in earlier on in their careers. So yeah, I just think like you look at like Jason Tatum is in his prime. Like he's in it. Joel Embiid has been in his prime for a few years. He's not, and you just see guys going down with injuries more often. I think it feels like it. I don't know if that's backed up, but it seems like as you get, it stands to reason, like as you get more mileage on your legs and body and stuff, that your body is more likely to break down as you get closer to your late 20s, and especially as you get more expensive, because as far as like not only your physical prime, but also what your team can surround you with as you're getting paid, like the maximum contract that you can get paid as a number one guy. I think it's, you start to think about what Bradley Beal's getting right now. He's 28, 29.
Yeah.
It's harder to surround those guys salary cap wise with, enough ammo to put a real contender out there. And it's when they're 25 and they're making like just their first contract off their rookie deal, it's much easier to load up with that.
I think it's a little bit of a shame, actually, that actually, now that you say that, because I do think there is this will sound like somebody who's old, but there's a wisdom that comes with age, right?
Of course.
You know what I mean? And that's what prime is. Prime is where you gain that wisdom, but you still have your athletic ability. And, Zach did say something on that pod, I was listening earlier today, about how destructive these max deals are to the team that keeps the player. Like how that's unfortunate that the salary, not that the players make a lot of money, but that it is so difficult to build around them once they're in that salary range. Yeah. You know what I mean? Especially for players of the level of like Bradley Beal or Donovan Mitchell, who are good, and you can't let them go, but you have to pay them the max or they'll leave. And that, paying Bradley Beal $48 million. Bradley Beal's still good. Donovan Mitchell's good. But, by the time they hit 28, 29 years old, they're at like almost a prohibitive salary to have other players on the team, unless you've drafted perfectly and you're a team like Golden State that can afford to pay the huge tax bills and things like that. It's an interesting issue that they have,
Yeah, and that's why I think that combined. I think, of course, like guys get smarter as they get older, as they have more experience in the league for sure. But and a guy like Jimmy Butler was certainly more athletic 5 years ago, but has certainly improved over the last 5 years. Although he's had a ton of injury issues as well. So, and figures to have more. So, I think that the injury thing plus the athletic thing plus the how much they're gonna have to get paid if they're your number one guy, it makes it like you need. There's no like, for Luka, like Luka's he might get better, but like he's in his prime right now. He's like a prime. He's like you should be trying to win a championship with him. You're not like, well, let's wait till he's 26.
Right. And he might not get better. He might just be hitting that, he might be peaking that this might be, you're right. This might be what he's, and what's he, 22, 21, 22, something like that.
No, he's older than that. I think he's 20.
Is it 23?
23 at this point.
Yeah. We'll get to Summer League Mike, play-by-play and the JJ Redick comments about Philadelphia after I tell you about Big Barker therapeutic dog beds. As Rebel recovers from his surgery, he got his stitches out the other day, very excited, but he's wearing a shirt. I have him wearing a shirt because he had these stitches, and the vet was like, you got to keep a shirt on him so it doesn't scratch the stitches. So he's wearing a shirt, but I wouldn't have him resting on anything but a Big Barker. What happened? Was it
This
traveling?
little pull-up jumper from Cassius Winston and one.
Okay. Big Barker therapeutic dog beds are the only real dog bed on the market. You cannot have your dog sleeping on any other bed but a Big Barker therapeutic dog bed, because your dog's health is important. Your dog's happiness is important, and only the Big Barker can provide both of those. It's proven. It is proven. A Penn Vet study showed that dogs that slept on Big Barkers, almost a 20% improvement in joint function, 20% reduction in pain severity, reduction in joint stiffness, improvement in gait, improvement in quality of life. That was the result of the study. Go to bigbarker.com/Ricky, bigbarker.com/Ricky. You will see, if you go there, it's a proper mattress. It's a real mattress. It is supportive. It looks different than the other dog beds. It feels different than the other dog beds. Is it more expensive? It is, but your dog is not here forever. Your dog deserves the best life possible, and your dog deserves to be healthy and happy. Bigbarker.com/Ricky. I say Big Barker, but they have Big Barkers for every size. Barker
Oh,
Jr.
yeah.
Is that about the dogs, or?
It was about the dogs, and it was about a half-court lob from Cassius Winston to Trevelyan Queen.
Bigbarker.com/Ricky. You go there, you get the Big Barker dog beds with the Process Pup patches. You send us a picture, we put them in the Process Pup gallery. A 10-year warranty. A 10-year warranty. The foam doesn't flatten or they replace it for free. 1 year at-home trial. If for any reason you are not thrilled, your dog's not thrilled, they will give you a full refund, and they'll pay for UPS to bring it back to them. Handmade in the USA. Big Barker dog beds.
Woof.
Here's what JJ Redick said during a Summer League broadcast about Philadelphia. Oh, motherfucker. We need CJ back, even though CJ didn't even do this. This is my fault. Okay.
How many autographs did you sign in Philly? Quite a few. You know, I always think to myself, if I had won a championship, if our group had done that together, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Jimmy Tobias, we had accomplished that. We would never pay for a meal in Philly ever again. We'd be goated in Philly. It'd be a good feeling.
It is one of the greatest sports towns in America.
It is the greatest sports town in
Oh,
America.
you're going to put it up there.
Despite the fact that, they boo you, the sports radio talk shows are delusional. Despite all of that, it's the greatest sports town in America.
How many?
Who's listening more to the commentary around them of any professional athlete than JJ Redick? The fans boo you. The sports talk shows are delusional, but it's the best sports town in America. I agree it's the best sports town in America, but just say that. I fucking hate this guy so much. I can't even take a fucking, he compliments the city, but it's a backhanded compliment. He didn't even live there. I fucking hate him so much. I hate him so much. I can't get over it.
That's I don't know that. I think you're a little on your own here. Not just from me. I think everybody's kind of like, all right. Like, people didn't like him when he was here, for sure. There were people he was hot and cold, but although his movement shooting helped Joel a lot, their two-man game was great. But now there's been a few years, and I do think he's great on the broadcast.
This
is
okay
just you.
on the broadcast.
This is just you. I'm not. That's not to
Well, it's because you
just
excuse the racism, the abortion contract, all that stuff. You just like put that stuff to the side. That's not important to you. Look,
a principled man.
I've got morals and principles.
That's I'm saying as far as who he is at this point. That's the stuff in the past for sure. The Uber stuff, I like. I enjoy that. I think that's a positive.
The Uber stuff.
Mo Bamba, just bullying Mo Bamba on a podcast. Poor guy. That stuff. Yes, all these are factors. But as far as who he is now, the things he says now, I just don't. It doesn't really make a dent in me one way or the other. But I like a vendetta, and you certainly have it against him, so I support it.
You know, one thing the criticisms about Philadelphia from JJ Redick, I don't agree with. The one thing that my lone criticism of Philadelphia sports fans is that Philadelphia is the greatest sports city in America. And I'm in New York now, and it's different when there's two teams for this weird thing in New York where like there's two teams for every sport. So in Philly, if the Phillies are good, everybody's behind them. Like everybody. In New York, if one of the teams are good, only half the fans are behind them. It's weird. Anyway, it's definitely strange. The thing about Philly that I can't, the thirstiness of Philly fans is just like they're so easily bought by somebody like JJ Redick saying it's a good sports town. Like Bryce Harper is out there doing this fucking impression of somebody who likes Philadelphia. He's got, the skyline tattooed on his ass. He's wearing Fanatic socks, all that stuff, and everybody buys right into it. It's just, I just wish they saw things for what they were, specifically JJ.
I mean,
Redick.
what is the harm? What's JJ trying to get out of it? Bryce wants to be liked by the fans, and isn't that like nice? Don't you want your players to like?
Well,
like I think pandering is. I don't think it's a bad thing.
Don't you want people to like you?
Sirianni panders his ass off, but like, I don't. I guess I don't see it as a bad thing. I wish Doc pandered a little bit more. That'd be great if Doc pandered some more.
Well, wouldn't it be better if Doc was just actually a good person? Like, just actually handled it like it. I don't know if he's a good person or not. I take that back. But wouldn't it be better if he was just like genuinely like respectful to everybody instead of like pretending to be respectful? Instead of he coming out and going, like my dad asked him a question. He goes, Howard, you're a fucking legend, man. Let me just tell you you're a legend. And then answers his question. Like, there's nothing, pandering is dishonest.
I think if he said, Howard, you're a legend, that's pretty close to pandering in my mind.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If he did that, like that is, wouldn't it just be better if he was respectful and normal?
I don't think that those have to be two separate things. He could be a better coach and less shitty to the media while also being like, I don't know, going to a Phillies game. I guess it doesn't matter to me one way or the other. Separate things to me.
All right. Well, I mean, the race, the Chinese New Year thing didn't bother you, I guess.
It did. I always thought that was an accident. There's no way that he'd be like, here we go. I'm gonna say it. Now's my chance. It always seemed to say like just a really very poor slip up.
So I'm back to Summer League. I'm back to Summer League. I was watching Summer League the other day, and I gave up. I turned it off. I hated it so much. Has Grant Riller played any more?
He has. I'm a little disappointed by how little is. Like, I think Cassius Winston has a real chance of getting a two-way spot. I think it would be a little bit silly to have both Charlie Brown Jr. and Justin Champagnie in a two-way spot because their games are, at least, they're both big wings that are somewhat athletic. That can, I mean, Champagnie's a better shooter theoretically, but hasn't been, and neither can really handle the ball that well. So I think that they should mix it up, get another guard in there. I want it to be Grant Riller. I want him to like seize it, but he's not popping as much as I want him to. And Cash Winston's a nice player, like a classic college point guard, a good shooter, but like he's just so limited athletically and so like small. It's all of it. Like he doesn't have much burst, but as far as like a floor general goes, setting guys up, like he's the only person in Summer League history you're watching and going like, I wish he was looking for his own shot more. No one else has ever done that.
Right.
And so you're just like,
Paul certainly
kind of hoping, yeah, hell yeah, Bebo Paul. So I'm a little bit, I'd be like uninspired by the Cash Winston two-way, and it looks like that's where it's headed, just like the way that they're playing them both.
I have 5:34 left in the third quarter. Javonte Smart on the free throw line. Are we in the same spot, or am I still
44
behind you?
seconds ahead of you?
Okay.
In game time.
Yeah.
So I love Summer League, man. The best. Cash Winston drive, little floater, good. He just has it. His mid range is very nice. He's got that like Chris Paul snake through a pick and roll mid range type thing. He's a very, very nice college player that has not 1 ounce of NBA athleticism, NBA quickness, NBA body. But as far as like, sometimes you're just going to need a point guard to like, honestly, throw an entry pass to Joel from time to time, which was an area of concern in the past, if you remember the recent entry passes. I get it. It wouldn't be huge, but it'd be fine.
Joel Embiid is officially a French citizen. He is eligible to play for their national team. You know, there was a quote that Paul Hudrick had in his article for Embiid about playing for France, and I have no idea where this. I'm not doubting that the quote was legitimate. I didn't see Embiid talk about it, and I didn't see the quote written about anywhere. I thought it was Paul that wrote it. I'm looking for the quote now. In any case, he basically said, when I saw the quote, maybe it wasn't for Paul Hudrick, I saw the quote, and it basically said that he is not going to put anything in front of wanting to play an 82-game season and winning a championship with the Sixers, or he won't do anything. He won't play for the national team until he's able to do that. I do think it's interesting that he wants to play.
Julian Champagnie just missed a transition layup. He looks like shit, man. Holy cow!
The front office guy,
Julian Champagnie.
Oh no, it's Peter Champlain.
Oh
Peter
my God.
Champlain, right.
Peter Champlain. Who'd you say it was before? You said it was Derek Champlain. If there's a Derek Champlain out there that you're just doxing right now, he's just really bad. He's very bad. Michael Foster Jr. by the way, has been looking at least physical, and he had a nice little dunk.
Great
earlier.
dunk in the first quarter. Yeah,
that was nice. You know who sucks is Philip Petrushev. God.
Yes, he does suck.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I was hoping that like over the last year he would improve his like stretch fiveness and be like, okay, at least he has some like Muscala to him, but doesn't look confident, doesn't look good, easily pushed around. Not much of a threat. A couple nice plays with his hands defensively, but
why does Embiid want to play for fucking France?
Well, he speaks French, and they're a good. There's a lot of good players there. I don't know. He might not really want to, but there's a lot of. I mean, like,
is he doing it for tax reasons? Why is he becoming a French?
Why not? So he can go there, so he can travel there. Maybe there's some things there.
I guess.
Fun to do.
The
hell of a center rotation on the French national team if Embiid does go over there.
If he played well,
and
Embiid moves to power forward in that case, and then he can get all NBA easier.
Finally,
The hard to stomach YouTube comment of the week. There's 3 of them here. First of all, from Torian Hamilton. I thought you would like this one. I think Springer can be a better Pat Bev. He still has to get miles better offensively to sniff the floor, but he just has to be better than Matisse. Pat Bev's a pretty lofty. Pat Bev's a pretty good 3-point shooter and is actual point guard. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, they're such different players. If you look at like the top line stuff, like limited offense, like physical defense, then I see how you get there, but they don't play like each other really at all.
Brendan McEwen says, aside from the height and wingspan measurements, can we just put CJ through the entire physical portion of the NBA Combine? Vertical, broad jump, cone skills, dribble drills, the whole shebang.
Yes, if he does it, then I have to do it also.
Oh, I would love that.
I would love to do the Combine. That's the best. I did watch Hustle, by the way. I don't know if we talked about it, but I thought it was nice. It was a nice movie. It was
well,
cute.
let's talk about it next pod because I'm not prepared. I'll put it in the rundown next time.
Sure.
So,
but doing the Combine is, that's what I want to do. They'd have to really make the what's the I don't know what they're called, like the jumping things where you hit the
for vertical.
For your vertical, they have like little tags or whatever they're called.
Yep.
They have to make them a little bit lower for me and CJ probably, but because they usually start at a certain point. They start at probably like 8 feet or something like that. And it'd be like, let's make sure we get that nice and low just in case. I don't know how high we're getting these days. But yeah, I would do that. I would absolutely would do the Combine for sure.
And from St. Christian Aldrin, hey Spike, Tobias is going to prove you wrong. As long as he's doing it in Sacramento, that's fine. The Lorenzo Brown mailbag, you can send us emails, rights to RickySanchez@gmail.com, or leave us a voicemail at 888-LICKFACE. That's right, leave us a voicemail at 888-LICKFACE. This comes from Marias. Hey guys, I'm your listener from Paraguay. I have a question that might be basketball and non-basketball related. Now that the Sixers traded Danny Green, will the Danny Award still be a thing next season to honor him, or are you retiring it? My best wishes and all the love for all the Ricky team.
No, I mean, I think it's perfect that Daniel House is going to basically do the Danny Green role, has the same name, and is also like prone to making mental errors.
Uh-huh. So the Danny lives?
I think so. I think it lives in general, even if he wasn't here. Even if Dan House wasn't here, but because they play the same position or have a very similar skill set, and like he's definitely going to fuck up sometimes and get too confident in his dribble drive game or whatever. Yeah, absolutely, of course.
See what this is, Mike? I know you're watching. It's a commercial for me. Yeah, Body Bio. E-Light. E-Light is like our core product. We love all the Body Bio products. We love liposomal vitamin C. We love butyrate, sodium butyrate, but we love E-Light. Body Bio is a supplement company right here in South Jersey, family owned, family operated. And the reason we like that is because they are nimble. As science moves, they can move as well. Now, E-Light, we fucking love because E-Light is just an electrolyte concentrate. So to stay properly hydrated, you don't just need water, you need electrolytes. And every time you see an electrolyte drink, it's purple or blue or red. It either has a ton of sugar in it or artificial colors and artificial flavors. This does not. E-Light doesn't. It is just the electrolytes. And I had a cramping problem. Gone. I don't have it. I had it in my calves, had it in my feet. Doesn't happen anymore. It's better for energy. And, you get enough sleep and stay hydrated. You're going to be a healthy person. Body Bio, get the E-Light. And by the way, those drinks, those sports drinks, you pay $3 for 16 ounces. This thing of E-Light, it's $8. And you just need a capful in the morning, capful in the evening, in whatever you drink. You just put it in your, I put it in my seltzer here, and you're set. Liposomal vitamin C helps your, I can never remember the phrase, prevents you from getting sick. Your
immunity?
Your immune system. Helps your immune system. That's right. I can never remember it. Liposomal vitamin C and butyrate is the only gut supplement you need. Go to bodybio.com, bodybio.com. Use code RTRS20 for 20% off everything, anytime. Bodybio.com. Use code RTRS20. Mailbag. Back to the mailbag. Any updates here on Summer League? I have it on here, but I'm behind, so I don't want to. I feel like you're the person to say, and also I just don't care what's happening anymore.
Yeah, I mean Tyler Bay's still bad. I mean a couple plays. I really do like Justin Smith. I think he's got a nice touch inside as like a physical sort of small ball 5 that can bounce a little bit. He's got to get better shooter. So many guys on this team, on this Sixers Summer League team, are so reluctant to shoot off the catch. And like obviously saw that a ton from Springer, although like even Springer who when he gets the ball, like he'll like pump fake once or twice and then like bounce into it slowly. But too many guys just reluctant to shoot off the catch. I was like, guys, know what team you're on. Know who's going to be making the decisions about who's going to make this roster. That you got to just get the shots up. You got to shoot off the catch. Know who you're going to be playing with if you're going to make the team. Like you're going to be counted on to shoot off the catch. Prove that you are at least willing to shoot off the catch. Isaiah Joe looked very good. Then he, I think, is probably going to be out for the rest of the summer league just with the shoulder thing, just to be safe. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. He proved that he is improved and is confident and showed some leadership and willing shooter, all that stuff. And I hope that they do like a condense the back of the rotation type of trade so that he can like have a fighting chance to contribute. But it's been an interesting summer league. Not as good as I thought it would be, to be honest. Not as good. Not the Sixers. I mean, the Sixers summer league team has not been as good as I thought it would. Bassey, a little bit disappointing, although a couple nice big blocks, a couple nice rolls, but everybody's trying to do too much. You know, that's the best part of
summer league is.
The best part of summer league, people trying to do too much. Trevor McQueen hitting a ton of tough shots off the move. Ooh, Michael Foster Jr. blocks a 3 off a step back. That was a nice play. Big guy moving his feet on the perimeter a little bit. But yeah, you know, Miles Powell working his ass off, but you look at teams that were successful lately, and they just don't have guys that are too small to like really contribute. And I don't want to be like stacking up with those guys. So let's see if we can get some big dudes to add to their game a little bit.
From Linus, hi Spike, Mike, and CJ. I hope
Tyler Bay 3 off the catch. Had to call it out. Haven't been complimentary. Just hit one. There you go.
I hope you're all enjoying the summer. My basketball question: how would you feel about a trade centered around? You're gonna love this one. Tobias Harris for Julius Randle. You'd be buying low on Randle, who admittedly stank it up last year and broadly disliked by Knicks fans, but was all NBA 2 seasons ago. Only 27 and ticks a few boxes for what this team needs.
God, I was just so. That's a nice finish from Grant Miller. That's a really nice finish from Grant Miller. I need to see more of that off the dribble going to his right. I was just so confident that Knicks stumble into the fifth 5 seed or 4 seed, whatever they were in that 4-5 Hawks matchup. I was so confident that was bullshit. I just knew it was fake, and everybody on their team shot like above 40% from 3 somehow, and then it obviously regressed, and they suck.
Julius Randle can't handle Philadelphia. He just can't. He couldn't handle New York.
He's just not like he is certainly the kind of player where if a team has nobody else, he will just bully ball into people and have a crazy high usage rate and make a couple shots and be physical sometimes and play well. And he's improved as a jump shooter over his career for sure. I think he's a better player than he was last year, but obviously like not nearly as good as he was the year before. He's just like, if Tobias isn't a catch and shoot guy, Julius Randle is not a catch and shoot guy. Julius Randle is not a like space the floor, let other people operate guy. Randle would be an even worse fit than Tobias, I think, by a significant margin.
Yeah, and I just there's something wrong with his head. I think I've never seen a player 180 like that in a town. They loved him before. He's just talking shit about the fans. It was so weird. Non-basketball question: when you're first getting to know somebody, what are some minor things which they might do that act as major red flags for you?
Dislike summer league would be one.
There you go.
Would be one. No.
Chew with their mouth open. I hate chewing with their mouth open. I hate it.
I might do that. I do it occasionally.
Oh wow.
Minor things. All the things I'm thinking about are like writer's room etiquette, and it doesn't really apply to the real world as much. Yeah, I don't know.
Nothing.
Everything I think would be like too targeted about like specific people, and I don't know that I want to just start like just like
You don't want
going-
to out yourself.
just like directly subtweeting people.
When you wear the stupid Pearl Jam shirt every Tuesday.
I think it's like, I don't know. People like, I get frustrated. One of my least favorite things generally, and this is not specific, is
Okay.
when people say, when people say, this is a little bit windhorsey, like obvious things as if they're like, and that people, as if no one's ever said them before. And it's like the most thoughtful thing in the world. And that is also a writer's room thing. But it's just like, yeah, no, I know. Like people weighing in as if they have like the most brilliant take of all time. And it's like, that is, yeah, I've heard people, you don't have to keep going. Like, I know what you mean.
That's definitely somebody.
That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, for me, it's chewing with the mouth open. This is from Mark. Basketball question. Could you please take a moment on the podcast to acknowledge that Andrew Wiggins is now an NBA champion? That's right. The player Jimmy Butler shit on more than anyone else in his attempt to show how much of a hardcore winner he is, now has more NBA championships than Jimmy Butler. The recent revisionist history, by the way, that was Karl Anthony Towns, not Wiggins, that Butler was mostly shitting on.
I think both of them. I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was, I remember it being Cat more than Wiggins, but whatever. The recent revisionist history about how the Sixers' decision to let Butler walk was one of the biggest mistakes in NBA history really bothers me because it ignores the obvious, which is that Butler hasn't won shit in the NBA. Would the Sixers be better now if they had re-signed him? Possibly. But the Sixers were never going to win a title re-signing him to a max deal, and that's because Butler cares more about appearing to be a winner than he does about actually winning. All of this talk about how it's an indisputable truth that letting him walk was the world's biggest screw-up is some serious loser energy. One more thing. Well, just let me finish. One more thing. The fact that Butler shit on Tobias at the end of the Sixers Heat series basically guarantees that Tobias will also win more NBA championships than Jimmy Butler ever.
I like that theory.
Would be funny.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that it was like Jimmy Butler is the best player in the league or anything. He's been one of the best postseason players of the last 3 or 4 years. And it was the idea that the Sixers chose,
They
whether
really
true
chose
or not,
Simmons.
chose Ben Simmons over Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Which seems to be mostly true, even if a little bit like reductive. Then that was a mistake. Like that very clearly was a mistake. The Wiggins thing is like, yeah, I mean, JaVale McGee has more championships than a lot of people. He's not one of the best. Wiggins had a very nice finals, had a very nice playoffs. And he had a nice playoffs, like doing the little shit that people can do when you have as good of a player as Steph Curry there. That if you just like trust your athleticism, work your ass off, limit the bad shots, and he played great defense. Like he was great, but like he was great as basically a role player that could occasionally get you a bucket. And that's like so much. That's how I feel. Like,
but that's what Jimmy Butler should be on a championship team. He shouldn't be the.
He got to the finals. He got to the finals as
it
like
was
the
fake
guy
finals.
that was like going to the.
It was fake finals. It wasn't real finals. There were no road games. There were no
got
fans.
to game 7 of the conference finals, and if he had hit that shot, then he would have gone to the finals again.
But he didn't. But he didn't.
I know. Come on, man. You know he's better than that. You know that like what the result of one jumper going in doesn't mean like he can't be the best player of the finals versus
he cannot be the primary offensive option on a championship team. He can't. He can't. If he would thrive in a role like Andrew Wiggins' role. That's where he would thrive.
He's just a much better player. He's much better with the ball in his hands. He's a much better passer. He's much better at getting to the line. He's much better at simply just like creating for himself. He's really been an absolutely. He's been way better than I thought he's gotten way better than even I thought he would when he was here. And yeah, the fact that he, except against the Sixers, like doesn't shoot threes is definitely, or rarely shoot threes is prohibitive in some ways, but he can get to his right hand and get to the basket anytime he wants against really anybody at all. And it's really when guys know where they're going to go, where you're going to go and you can still get there, that I think is balls. That's why I love Tony Roten so much for a little time that he had in the NBA. But and the fact that he's a good defensive player on ball, off ball. He's been dinged up by injuries and stuff, which has hurt him. But he's in the playoffs when it counts as a 16-game player. He has been like a top 10 player in the NBA the past few years.
At least admit the bubble playoffs do not count the same as regular playoffs.
The only way I will admit that they don't count is that they don't count as far as Anthony Davis is shooting, because that is the biggest outlier in the world. Really want to see the AD for KD trade, by the way. Really want to see it. Really.
Oh, wow. That's not possible, though. I don't think that's possible.
I think it is. I think it is the best case scenario for both teams. The Nets get AD and Kyrie, who wanted to play together in the past, and they get a younger.
But the Lakers
type.
The Lakers won't. The Lakers won't do it unless AD wants it because of the clutch thing.
I think that they should say, "Fuck you! You haven't been very good, and you don't play enough."
Yeah.
And aren't good enough to not play enough. And KD and LeBron on the same team would be sick to go up against the Warriors next year and a bunch of other good teams in the West and the Clippers and the Nuggets and everything. And KD and Westbrook back together would be really funny. And doing it like with the Lakers with LeBron is such an odd little thing. And it's just like, it just fits better. KD, LeBron and Westbrook, LeBron, Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook, like none of them are good shooters. LeBron is the best shooter out of those people. And you don't want LeBron just standing in the corner all the time. KD would space the floor much.
So your option is not to get rid of Westbrook, but to get rid of Anthony.
Well, obviously
Davis.
You want to get rid of Westbrook, but you're not going to get anything for Westbrook at this point.
He'll get
You'd
Kyrie
rather try
somehow.
to maximize him as best you can.
All right.
Which, if there's more shooters around him, you have a better chance of doing.
Can you give a final summer league thought? Because I want to go to bed because I got to do this fucking.
It's a
CJ
tie
work.
game. There's 8:40 to play. This is the guts of the game. You need Kate Smith on the call. Kate Scott, Kate Smith.
I was just saying Kate Smith. What do you
want
her to sing
Scott.
God Bless America?
Yeah, definitely not her. Kate Scott. Zoom off should only call summer league games. That would be a good retirement. He goes to Vegas for like 2-3 weeks.
Pay him $300 a game. Something he's just doing it for the love.
Get out of there.
Yeah.
They are giving the ball to Charlie Brown Jr. a lot more to like see how his handle is, and I can appreciate that. I might be growing in favor of
back in
continuity wise. Cutting Julian Champagny, and I keep calling him Justin because his twin brother's also in the league on the Raptors. But I might be in favor of giving Charlie Brown the Champagny spot just because of how bad he's been. And apparently seems like Doc likes him. So just summer league, man. This is what it is. Guys out there playing their hearts out. Purvis Ellison's kid playing his ass off. Michael Foster Jr. developing. That goes in. No, airball. I love it. Give me some iconic moments. We had the Isaiah Joe iconic moment, the Michael Foster dunk. Couple nice things.
Boy, really stretching the definition of iconic. We are today.
Iconic.
Yeah.
It all happens at Cox Pavilion in Las Vegas, Nevada. That's where careers are made.
We'll talk to you this weekend. Are you down with TTP?
Yeah. Lickface.